who does the bank foreclose on first? Now, probably without all this other conversation, it would seem reasonable to say, well, the bank needs to foreclose on the bigger loan first because that's more money that they need to be able to collect. But here's the problem. Banks are not in the business of owning real estate. They're in the business of accepting deposits and lending money. So the person with all the equity who has a hard time paying their mortgage goes into what has been told to Cory and I by the people who work in the special asset division of these banks. They call it the green pile. Now, I only know this because I had some executives in special asset divisions of banks who are clients. And they call it the green pile. Why do they call it the green pile? Because they can facilitate foreclosure, they can move through and have that home on the auction block as quickly as possible on the county courthouse steps. And all they have to do is give our first woman $1 more than what she owed. They're not even required to do that. They could sell it for less than what it's owed, but rest assured, the bank wants to get at least what they're owed on the home. And they just give you whatever's left over.
Green does not mean good for the customer.
That's exactly right. Case. Yes. Yeah. The green pile is green for the bank. We can foreclose and there's equity in the home. On the right-hand side of the screen, we have the person now owes $100,000 more than what the asset that the bank lent on as collateral. Remember, banks don't lend on your home. They lend against your future ability to earn an income. So now they say, now we need to call in our collateral because the original thing we lent against your income has been impacted. You can't make your payments. Oh, wait a second. This home, we owe $100,000 more than the home is worth. And so the homeowner calls in situation one with all the equity and says, hey, can you give me a little extra room? We put a ton of extra money down. We've made all our payments on time. Could we have some extra wiggle room? To which they would say, yes, you bet, all the way up to the end of the foreclosing procedure we'll give you.
Right.
And the person who has no equity now, owes $100,000 more on their home, calls the bank and says, hey, I'm real sorry. I can make some partial payments, or I can't make any payments for 2 months, but I hope to be back to work soon. Then I'm going to be able to make payments. And the bank will work with them. People in some of the hardest hit parts of the country during the mortgage crisis went without making mortgage payments, sometimes for over a year or more, negotiating with the bank and never being evicted from their home. All because they owed more than what the home was currently worth. Now, we're not in the habit of wanting to have people be over their head in debt on the home that they own. That is not a strategy to embrace. But right. When the worst things happen, like real estate values dropping, do you want to be the one that is more secure or the one that's more exposed? Because there's one little thing we haven't addressed about the second woman. She still has $600,000 sitting on the sidelines and may never need to go negotiate with the bank. You know, we did some quick math, and you could actually make your mortgage payment for like 14 years, even with no interest on the $600,000. Like, that's a lot of runway and wiggle room to find a job again, to stabilize your income again, to sell the house and move if that's what you need to do. That literally nearly every single way, the person with the more leveraged home is the one that's actually safer. Now,
and that's really important because it might not be a black swan event that affecting the market. It might be a black swan event affecting you.
Hey guys, so glad you could tune in and watch that video. I want to remind you to subscribe, be sure to hit the notification bell so you can get the latest piece of financial knowledge we release. And don't forget, go to Amazon, get a copy of Sound Financial Advice. Why? Because it'll make you better looking and smarter.